What's up, guys? BARRYGAMING here, back with some more Eternal Evolution, and today we're going to be talking about the Defense of the Iron Eaters Village event. So we've been ranking pretty high up in this recently. We've found a composition that does, what is it now, 41 million points, which is pretty solid. This is, however, including the newest hero, Asuka. She is at Immortal 0 on our account, at least 1-star tempered gear for both Marauder and some other setups. We'll show you guys here in a second. But the one downside with what we have found working is, if I go into simulation to take a look at it, it has been using not all three of these heroes, just one of them. So my highest composition I found that worked does sadly have Koraxia in it. But if for some reason you don't have Koraxia, which a good majority of people don't, I would go with Samael, and I put them in the back row mainly because of bonuses that I have on my commander and such. We are of course running the Eye of Annihilation because this is all about your assassins, and therefore Phantom Cloak because it's just the highest stat bonus we got, and same with the Revitalization Crystal, just the highest stats we have. And like I said, we have I'll show you guys the gear setups on our heroes right here. We have almost a maxed out Marauder set with 1-star tempered attack sets, and again pretty much the same on everybody. They're either 1-star or 2-star. However, Dominic has full 2-star tempered gear with attack and the Marauder set. Our Hunter, of course, is Mari, and that she's just in here for points. I'm not a big fan of this hero. However, she does knock down shields pretty quickly because remember, every hit that one of these Evangelion heroes does takes 5 points off the shield, which is important to have as many of them in here as possible. And of course, Purin is just absolutely amazing, so good, feeding energy to your heroes. I will say the one weird thing is with my account here, when I have Koraxia in the lineup in the back instead, she feeds the energy to Koraxia, which I absolutely hate. It's so hard because you take a look, she has 150,000 attack versus 130 with Dominic, and that's both of them with like fully tempered out gear setups and everything. And it comes down to basically because she has EX 40, and that's a bunch of extra stats that you're getting. So it's really hard to get her to feed energy into our other hero. So instead, if we put Samael in here and we take a look at him, he's only got 108. So a big difference in attack value, and same with the new hero. Again, she's at Immortal 0. I believe I have her at, EX 30 as here as well. So I'll show you guys what the damage numbers look like here. We're going to go full auto. And again, the main reason why we have the second Evangelion hero in, even though she's only at like epic or whatever, we barely have any investment in her, is to get the shield down much faster. Every attack that they do takes off 5 layers versus 1 layer for every normal non-Evangelion hero. And on top of that, they're giving 20% extra points. So we're not going with all 3 of them. We're only going with 2 of them because, well, as you guys know, boss damage is all about assassins. You want your assassins in here doing as much as possible. They're just so good. And this setup here has Purin feeding that energy. You can tell by the little emote over the Dominic's head, feeding him that energy, getting as many of those ultimates off as possible. And I'll show you guys the damage numbers up here as well. Samael probably can be replaced as well with someone like Makoto, if you still have her from the last Ghost in the Shell, but the collaboration that we had. But overall, it does seem like just having another assassin in the lineup does make a big difference. Really, whatever your next best damage dealer is kind of what you want to go for here. And again, you're already seeing we're getting up into the 30 millions here. It's not going to compete with our Koraxia setup, even though this one is feeding energy to Dominic, whereas when Koraxia is in the lineup, it is fed into the Koraxia. I'll show you guys both. I'll show you this version, and then we'll jump on over to the other setup. But it's still a really good damage number if you are building the newest hero. However, of course, having the new Asuka hero is pretty impossible right now unless you are a spender. Unless you bought that $100 pack, you're not going to have her, but eventually that is pretty much what you want to be going for. Looks like we'll end up with like 38-ish million, so it's still a really solid score. Actually, it might go up to 40. Holy cow, this actually is a very good score. That's better than I was actually expecting. 41 was our previous record here, and Yeah, that can definitely pack a punch, to say the least. Now, I'll show you guys, as I said, I'll show you the other method that we were using that has the better result here. We'll put both of them in the back row. We'll go at it again, and this time you'll notice Koraxia in the back here is the one that's fed the energy from the Purin, just because she has so much more attack value. And you'll notice the difference in the values of attack and everything. One thing I do like about this new assassin is she is very front loaded. She'll get some of the most damage very early on in a battle. She does eventually fall off and fall below some of the other heroes a lot of times, but you see she's competing with the best of them. She's up there. She's in the top 3 of assassins now. I think she's overall better than Samael and Motoko, so both of them are, all 3 of those are like really close, but they each have their own use. Whereas she has the ability to basically immune damage when she's going to be killed. Samael still has more uses overall, especially if you have Koraxia. If you don't have Koraxia, not as important. But what Samael does is allow you to get more revives off with the Koraxia, because they keep reviving back and forth. And what looks like a loss in a PvP battle eventually becomes a win. You'll notice here, like I was saying, eventually both Koraxia and our Dominic do end up having a higher damage bonus here. But again, it really just comes down to who you have. And if you're not a spender, this is going to be really rough until you can get her for free, which you will be able to get a single copy for free. So if you're saving up your gene hybrids, I do think out of all 3 heroes that we have available right now in this event, Asuka, I think, is the strongest one. Assassins are just way too good in the game right now. It's hard to pass up on building them, whereas building a hunter or an energy hero might have some niche uses, but isn't like a necessary, guaranteed, must-use type hero. You'll see here we're actually going to be doing a good amount of damage. This actually might be one of my records. Maybe not. Looks like that's not going to pop off just yet. So still pretty close, but you can see a difference of about 3 million points, which is not much considering having a Koraxia and not having a Koraxia. And like I said, that last slot can be filled kind of with whoever is your next best damage dealer. If it's Motoko, you can go ahead and try her out as well. That's something that might be possible. We can actually throw her in to see how that would work out, just to see if she is better than Samael, but I don't know. I think she might, at least on my account, provide more damage. But again, this is only if you had her from the previous one. If you're kind of like a newer player, you're not going to have access to the Ghost in the Shell heroes. You're only going to have access to Evangelion ones. Will they ever come back? It's really hard to say. I really don't know if they will or not. Chances are a lot of times collab heroes do not return because it's a contract set up between the IP, the intellectual property owner, and the game, and a lot of times they're only allowed to release those heroes during special events. So let's see how it goes with Motoko over the Samael, and I'm hoping it's pretty solid here. I'm honestly intrigued on this too, just to see how the stat numbers work out, because maybe I switch up my main lineup team and do more. It's just I'm not gonna be going to Immortal 5 completely maxing out the Asuka, I don't think, unless the other 2 heroes coming in another week and a half, which I think is a tank and a support hero, if I remember correctly. At least one of them's a support. I can't remember what the other one is. But if they're no good, then I might just take all my gene hybrids and fully invest into the assassin, because every assassin we have pretty much is Immortal 5, just because they are so useful, and the additional stats and skill unlocks for PvP are just so good. This one's not looking too hot. We're about to hit the 30 million, but we only have 25 seconds left. I don't know if this is going to be doing as much damage. We'll have to see, because it can ramp up here at the end of the battle due to the EX levels that we have. It really also depends on how things line up as far as ultimate abilities go. 6 seconds left, so we might get his off. Dominic's, it might explode, it might not, it does not, so yeah, not nearly as good. Samael does seem to be pretty solid though, and yeah, if you want to go for like really high up, like what Woody has and all them, it's gonna take a lot, but otherwise, this is a good strategy. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. If you have a different composition that you guys use, leave it in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.